Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I had a bit of a toss-up between three different topics that I do plan on discussing, but I had a rather difficult time finding the free time due to the day job and some things that have been going on this weekend, and I also had some difficulty figuring out which order to do them in. So I opted for a rousing game of random number generator, and the winner, or maybe the loser, depending on how you look at it, for today was Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed. Now, I know that Ubisoft did a great deal of good and achieved many accolades with their actions in regards to the Notre Dame fire, but I feel that a massive games publisher like Ubisoft should be held at least to the same standard as your average YouTuber. And as a YouTuber is only as good as their last video, corporations are only as good as their last actions. And this time, Ubisoft are not the knights in shining armor, far from it. Also, I think I'm about finished with reminding everyone about the format of my videos. I think the joke is getting a bit long in the tooth, and there's not much else I could do to shorten it any further or to recite it any faster. It is a joke that I might call upon from time to time, just like any dad joke that bears cruelly inflicting endlessly repetition with, but for the moment, I'll allow everyone to rest easy. However, I would like to remind everyone that links to any sources used will be down in the description below. Now, here are the particulars. Now, in what I would call a highly intelligent move on the part of Ubisoft, because credit where credit is due, they released the Assassin's Creed Odyssey Story Creator Mode, a browser-based editor that allows a person, even a plebeian like myself with absolutely no programming knowledge whatsoever, to be able to design and create story missions for the game that can be played by anyone, regardless of what platform they happen to be playing the game on. They released this creator mode into open beta on June 10th, and it would appear that they now instantly regret it. Now, the reason for this is apparently gamers set about creating missions that would power level the player, granting them massive amounts of XP in a very short amount of time. Now, the other day, Ubisoft released this announcement on their community forums announcing that these XP leveling quests would be actively combated by Ubisoft. In it, they said the following: "We are working on the following fixes and adjustments to reduce the impact of such farming quests on the player experience, shifting the focus back to the tool's intended design and use, as well as actively combating exploits moving forward. XP farming quests will not appear in our automatic recommendation system. This includes the Hall of Fame and the trending section. Stories that are reported for exploiting or cheating will be hidden moving forward. Our terms of use will be updated to reflect the misuse of the tool. We will sanction those who continue to willingly and intentionally misuse the tool, and implement further solutions with upcoming title updates. We will share more information as we near these updates." And as the announcement was locked at the time it was posted, there's no direct community feedback on this decision. So those are the basic facts that we're working with, and there are a couple of things here. Again, this is one of those situations where I can partly agree in spirit, but in other aspects I can feel the cynical greed that is pushing this decision wafting through my computer monitor like a giant steaming grumpy left in the middle of the living room floor. At first, I can see the core premise that one would definitely want actual content with thought and effort put into it rising to the top, not the bare-bones quests that serve as little more than XP power dumps. To my mind, it's not too dissimilar to what we see with the Steam storefront and our desire to see actual games rising in visibility as opposed to asset flips and the like. There's a good argument to be made there that one would want those story missions that contain actual effort to rise to the top, and the easiest way to do that would be to remove the XP farming missions. But of course, we also have to look at the source and not merely accept the stated reasoning at face value. Now, granted, at the core of their statement, I'm certain there was a kernel of truth there insofar as that one of the reasons why they're doing this is to promote actual effort, because they know that if you keep people interested and engaged, it's good for business, and getting people to create a metric ton of free content for your game is a brilliant business strategy. But it's only a good business strategy as long as it makes you money. So what happens when freely created content easily replaces the XP booster packs that one must unlock for $10? Well, that corporation is obviously going to stomp their boot down on it so hard that even Ezio would feel the impact echoing through time. And I have to say, this really isn't surprising in the least. Ubisoft will do whatever it can to keep Ubisoft's pockets lined with as much money as they possibly can bilk from their customers. It's a bit like being surprised that the scorpion decided to sting the frog. It is in its nature, and it will continue to act in accordance with that nature. Now, this isn't necessarily too big of a deal, I think. The game was not that grindy to begin with, assuming one actually explored some of the open-world aspects of the game, but this decision, I feel, is both a combination of wanting to protect their freely made content and wanting to keep it out of the lowest common denominator, as well as protecting their shameless microtransactions. And both are ultimately based upon a monetarily focused decision-making process, which again is not a surprise coming from a games corporation, where within this industry, rapacious avarice is the rule, not the exception. Either way, I'm not a fan of this decision, but that's just me. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.